Okay, so you know how when you're looking at real estate listings online and you see that days on market number, most people, I think they just kind of glance over it, but it's actually kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it's one of those numbers that seems really simple, but once you understand what it means, it can tell you a lot about a neighborhood, about a specific property, even about buyers and sellers.
Totally. And that's what we're diving into today. And we're using this report by Chicago Realtor Michael Linton. You can find him over at chicagodealflow.com, and he kind of lays it out. Days on market, it's like a thermometer for your dream neighborhood.
I like that. Yeah, if you're seeing like super low days on market in, say, Wicker Park or Lakeview, that's a strong seller's market, right? Lots of demand, lots of competition. People need to move fast.
So if you've been dreaming of that Wicker Park loft, get ready to make a move. But what about if you're someone who wants to take a little bit more time? You don't want to feel rushed in the process.
Then those neighborhoods with higher days on market might be interesting to you. Lincoln Park, Bucktown, beautiful homes, but they tend to stay on the market a little bit longer. Higher days on market there could mean you have more room to negotiate, maybe even ask for a few things on the inspection report.
Now, here's where it gets even more interesting for Chicago in particular. This report points out that Chicago isn't just one big housing market. It's like all these little micro markets going on.
Exactly. You can't compare a condo in River North to a house in Beverly.
Right. So, like that brand new condo downtown versus a classic Chicago bungalow in a family neighborhood, those are going to be totally different stories.
Totally. And that's something to keep in mind because when you're looking at days on market, it's all relative to what else is going on in that specific area.
Okay, so listening to all this, you might be thinking, right, location, 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 I get it. But how do you actually use this days on market info to your advantage?
It is the million-dollar question. Yeah. Let's say you're looking at a condo in a new building. Seems great, but it's been sitting on the market for like 60 days. For that area, that's kind of high.
So is that a red flag? Or is that a golden opportunity?
It could be either. It might mean you can negotiate a better price, or it could mean something else is going on with the building or the unit. And that's where a good realtor who understands the neighborhood, that's invaluable.
This is what I love about real estate. It's like a puzzle. Speaking of puzzles, this report had a whole section about price and days on market. And I gotta say, some of it really surprised me. Like, you'd think higher price means longer wait to find a buyer, right? But this report says, not so fast.
Right. You know those luxurious condos in the Gold Coast? High rises overlooking the lake, all the fancy amenities. They often take longer to sell than, say, a nice bungalow in Portage Park.
So Gold Coast condo versus Portage Park bungalow, totally different days on market stories. What's the reason?
Well, fewer people can afford those luxury units, right?
Uh-huh.
So that shrinks the pool of potential buyers. But here's where it gets interesting. It can also mean the sellers are a little more, motivated. Maybe they're moving for work. Maybe something else is going on, and they need to sell fast.
So it's almost like you get a peek into their mindset a little bit. So for our listeners, think about this. Would you rather be in a really hot market where you have to be super decisive and jump on things quickly? Or would you rather be in a slower market where you maybe have more room to negotiate, but there might not be as many options to choose from?
That's really the heart of it, figuring out what's more important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where this report gets super useful. It actually gives you strategies to use for both buyers and sellers, all based on days on market.
Okay, let's hear these strategies.
So if you're a buyer and you're looking in those hot neighborhoods where things move fast, you got to be ready. Get pre-approved for your mortgage, know your budget, and when you find a place you love, be prepared to make a strong offer right away.
So no dragging your feet in those competitive markets. But what about those neighborhoods where days on market are a little higher? Does that mean things are more relaxed over there?
Definitely can be. Buyers might have more time to think about it, do their research, maybe even ask for a few things from the seller. I had a buyer a while back, got a great place in Bucktown because it had been sitting on the market for a bit. Turned out the sellers were moving out of state and needed to close quickly.
I love those real life examples. Makes it so much more real than just talking about numbers. Now let's talk about the sellers out there. How do they make days on market work for them?
It's all about realistic expectations. See what similar homes in your area are selling for and how long it's taking. That's your starting point.
Don't just trust your gut or what your neighbor says, right? Look at the data.
Exactly. And don't underestimate how important presentation is. Good photos. Maybe even staging your place can make a huge difference. Can even mean your place sells faster.
We have covered so much ground. But before we wrap up our days on market deep dive, the report mentioned this thing called cumulative days on market. And honestly, I've always been a little fuzzy on what that really means. Help us out here. What's the deal with cumulative days on market? It sounds like, I don't know, one of those real estate tricks or something.
It kind of is. Most people see days on market and think that's the whole story, right? But what if a place was listed for a while, didn't sell, so they took it off the market, maybe fixed it up, and put it back on?
Oh, so then the days on market goes back to zero.
Exactly. That's where cumulative days on market comes in. It's like the total time a property's been up for sale, even if it's been listed and unlisted a few times.
Okay, so a house could say it's only been listed for like a week, but its cumulative days on market could be way higher, like months even.
Exactly. And that tells you something else is going on, right?
Right.
Maybe the price is too high. Maybe there's something wrong the buyers aren't liking, something like that.
Wow, that is so important to know. Seriously, listeners, if you remember one thing from today, it's this. When you're talking to your agent, ask about both days on market and in cumulative days on market.
Yeah.
Don't get fooled by just one number.
Right. You got to have all the info. And here's the thing, the report we talked about, it focuses on whole neighborhoods, right? But I think it gets even more interesting when you start looking at days on market within a single neighborhood.
Wait, hold on. My mind's already blown. Are you serious? Give me an example.
So think about it, a neighborhood with condos, townhouses, single-family homes, all mixed together. Those newer condos, especially if they've got all the upgrades, might sell faster than a charming older house.
So even within one neighborhood, you could see totally different days on market depending on the type of home.
Totally. Or imagine this, a brand new condo building versus a beautiful vintage building. Same neighborhood, totally different days on market stories probably.
Okay, this is amazing. So do we all need to become like real estate data analysts now? How do we use all this days on market stuff?
Uh-huh. No need to get overwhelmed. It's more about just paying attention. Look at the numbers, but talk to your realtor too. Ask questions, and don't be afraid to think a little deeper about what those numbers really mean.
I love that. We're all days on market detectives now. So to wrap things up, remember, days on market isn't just a random number, it's a clue. It can help you understand the neighborhood, the property, even what the seller might be thinking.
Real estate can feel complicated, but the more you understand things like days on market, the easier it gets to make smart decisions.
So true. Huge thanks to Michael Linton for that awesome report, and to all of you for joining us on this deep dive into Chicago real estate. We'll be back soon with another topic that's sure to get you thinking. Until then, happy house hunting.